Hi. Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy in Comics. And my pre-order arrived. To all of you that cruise on through, I appreciate you greatly. And wrapping up this 2025, I just want to say I appreciate you. Truly do. Let's go ahead and do this. Yeah. Basically, I end up getting a monthly pre-order from my mail order, and this is a back issue list that I end up getting, which is just a few copies. You'll see that in a minute. And this was my end up list of what I end up getting. I normally end up have as many as like 3 sheets, which turns out to be something stupid, like over $100. So right now I've been cutting it down. I've been doing pretty good, and I want to go ahead and first show you one quick set of books. Hey, Las Cruces, I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you being here and all the support that you've been giving me throughout the year and years that I've been doing this. Coming up on almost 5 now. So Las Cruces, thank you very much, and I hope you have a healthy and happy new year. So as I stated, I ended up getting my pre-order, and really quickly before I get into the pre-order, this was the only book I ended up picking up this week. The reason why I ended up picking up this book is it directly relates to the series in which that I've been reading already. So if it wasn't for that very reason, I wouldn't end up picking this, because I do also know that it slightly takes off on what has already been going a series with, which I don't want to, I mean, it's already, we know it's called. But what I didn't want to get in too much detail on all what's transpiring in the story. It does slightly relate to the story of Scarlet Witch that is already was before. But more importantly for me, it directly talks about how she's got this mantle, why she believes that she's the one for this mantle, and how she's looking forward to the future from here on as far as being the Sorcerer Supreme. All right, and so I end up seeing Jeff Johns. It was around the 23rd, if I recall, of April, somewhere around the 20th to 23rd. I had a discussion with him. I know I've said this story a few times now, so I'll just cut to the chase and saying that, he ended up telling me that Redcoat was in production. Geiger was slightly on a hold because of certain logistical reasons, but during that in-between time, allowed more talks to be done about some of the projects that was in works for him. More importantly, the overall project, Ghost Machine, that he's been splintering out and making these subsequent stories out of. It seems like there's multiple interests in almost all of the publishings that he's been doing. That stated right now, they've shown direct interest in both Geiger and Redcoat. So I didn't want to get too stupid. I knew I could have went out and got a bunch of books knowing that they were still out there. But what I did do is I ended up just placing order of like, I don't know, seven of the Redcoats. So when next I do see Jeff, I'll go ahead and have him sign these for me, along with the Doomsday event and a few other things that Doomsday Clock that I still have yet to get signed by him. Being that I'm a completionist, and depending on the relationship in which that I have with some of these writers or artists or whatever, I do like to go ahead and get everything that I own by them signed. No, not all in one sitting, and that's what explains why I'm still waiting on to get some of the things signed. But at the same point, yes, I like to eventually get my whole series signed by certain individuals. In the case of this, I'm looking to get these signed by Jeff, and hopefully down the road for individuals that don't quite have a copy yet, maybe I can hook them up in some way, shape, or form. Not only a regular copy, but one with a signature and, hopefully a certificate to go with it. All right, now let's jump into the pre-order and what's that I made mention of. Oh, no, that's not true yet. I got this last week, right? And then, like everyone else, I ended up getting a few of these the week before. And what else did I get? Yeah. Did I mention I got a few of these? I like this. This basically, in my opinion, really encapsulates what I think they were going for when they were going ahead and making conception of this character. I think that best encapsulates what they were going for as far as the overall feel of what that thing is, and yeah, it's pretty gnarly. I just have to say it's pretty damn cool. I'm trying to put these in a particular order. There we go. There we go. Oh, there we go. That was good for me. So yeah, that was a lot of copy of those absolutes. Absolute's been killing it. To use all kinds of stupid puns, it's been absolutely reinvigorating the DC market. They've been killing it basically all of 2025. I mean, when you look at all the hot books that have been coming and going, and people that are looking into, and new readers and all kinds of other stuff, yeah, it seems pretty heavy with the absolute stuff. They did a pretty good job, I'd have to say. All right, I ended up reading this last night. I am so enthralled with this story. I can't wait. There is going to be another story following this one. This one gives you an understanding of what led to the movie. If you know the movie at all, Event Horizon, and if you're already reading this or interested in any type of hardcore gore and horror, yeah, this is it. And the movie does oh man. Hey, Two Gun. Hope all is well with you. Happy New Year's. Appreciate you being here. And in my opinion, is probably one of the best, if not the best, sci-fi horrors out there. This comic is doing it justice. It's given a great lead up to what, in my opinion, also was exactly what was supposed to be transpiring in the movie that led up to. You got they were shortened the overall. I mean, if you did get the director's cut, you got some good stuff, but still, even in that, they were shortened the ability to go ahead and even act out all of that was actually in the scripted stuff. Not all of it came out, which did give it a kind of a fragmented storytelling in it. So it was hard to discern the real overall storyline and what it was trying to encapsulate and trying to convey to the actual watcher. This book fills in a lot of those gaps, and the subsequent book that was going to be following will give you the back end of the story of the movie, which I hope that they end up doing a part 2 to the Event Horizon, because it really needs to be done. All right, moving on from Event Horizon issue number 4, Geiger 18, with a Youngblood variant. Youngblood is just throwing a bunch of variants, being that it's come back and it's throwing variants across the image storyboards all the way across. It's doing, I mean, there's a lot of good ones. So if you even remotely interested in the Youngblood stuff of past and of new, I recommend that you check out some of the innovative and kind of imaginative versions of the old Youngblood comic books that they've put into the new books. Geiger issue number 19. Yeah, the glowing woman's back, and she's taking vengeance on all that really screwed her beginning of her life up, and it's been pretty cool. Rook Exodus. I am so glad that Rook is back. I'm finally back on track. It took me about 8 months to get back on track, so now I've been chomping on the bit and finally starting reading. I normally don't read my books until after I've logged them in. I couldn't wait, and this was one of those things I just had to read. So yeah, Rook Exodus issue number 9. Now we see that there is a spider warden out there, and it's also lost its mind, as a lot of these individuals are slowly doing, because they've been wearing that helmet way too long and they're not having anyone keep them honest, in the sense of, hey, look, you need to go ahead and take that thing off and hit that reset button. Remember, you're human before you get sucked into it. So yeah, it's been awesome. I really been digging it. Now we also knew who the culprit is, which I knew it. Who actually destroyed the machine too? Rook and Exodus. Here we go. Speaking of which, so that is a second print, I believe, of issue number 1 of, this is the second print, cover B of issue number 1 that just recently, again, rebooted. The overall goal is initially they just want to reboot it, but it was really spurred on by people that knew Liefeld really well and told them, hey, look, you're so close to doing 1,000 issues. I think he said it was 1,000. That just seems too many. Or 100. Must be 100. Yeah. that you got to do it. You got to do it. You're only a few issues away. So that's why it was the big reboot with Youngblood. So yeah, there's what, issue number 2? Yeah. Probably issue 3 is already out, right? Rick and Morty. Who's not a Rick and Morty fan? Especially it's the end. It's not the end. Yeah, it was a one shot. I had to do it. It looked cool. I mean, there's if you know, there's there's a lot of art and homage playing there, along with some tongue-in-cheek stuff. Look, this skin breaker, it seems like Robert Kirkman can't do anything wrong. And look what he's doing. This is, if you're into any of that barbaric style storytelling with a twist, this is it. This is it. I'm definitely going to do the first art. It's, I don't know, it's been good so far. The art's incredible. Yeah, I'm just going to stick with it. Feral 18, Red 17. Now that we have new proprietors, runners of this pet marketplace, and they're basically going to follow suit with past practices, that doesn't spell any relief. That's just an all new hell, just under new management. It's so, and as I made mention, yeah, I was a Youngblood from the original. Now, Tony Fleeks is actually a major Youngblood fan. He waited in line with us, well, somewhat waited in line with us, while Rob Liefeld was doing the signing event when he was down there launching his issue number 1 again, which basically, that was really what it was. He contacted, my brain went away, who runs it, Ryan, because Ryan's dad, who owned the place, he first launched Rob Liefeld's issue number 1, Youngblood, at the original Golden Apple, which was actually just down the street. So it was more of, yes, it was so many years in the anniversary, but it was also anniversary speaking. She had to go do it at Golden Apple. And yeah, so this was the book. So I had to get it. Just saying. Sorry, I got a little long-winded there, but yeah, issue 18. I can't wait to read. I already know issue number 19's out there, and I just can't wait to get into that too. Now, Briar Night Terror, I want to say this is like the 3rd volume to this thing. It's a Sleeping Beauty story that just twists itself onto its ear. It is a unique story of what if, especially if she wasn't awakened by the prince, but the princess took over her properties and started ruling it in a very dystopian way. Well, that's what we got with the original story. And then it was more of, the second one was a continuation of how to get the kingdom back. I'm curious of what this is all about. I really am. Department of Truth, issue number 34. I know we just got out to 35. Tynion right now is like getting everything either option and or in production. There's like 3 things in production right now. So I'm looking forward to Department of Truth. That needs to be done. And it needs to be done almost in, I have ideas how I would produce it. There's ways it could really be done that it could be really, really fun. And just, yeah. I'm hoping the Department of Truth, I can't wait to get in 34. I've been reading it. I've been loving it. Now that we're getting a 3-way twist of what's been going on in the storyline involving Russia in a different way too. Yeah, it's been trippy. Speaking of Tynion, I really been enjoying this. Most people don't realize, if there's one book I forgot and where I read this from. Hey, Jag, hope you do well. Hope all is well with you. Appreciate you being here. That James Tynion wasn't interested initially in writing any of these Universal monsters. He says they've been done, before, and in some regards, in his opinion, done better. However, when it came to the Invisible Man, it was a different story, because most of the monsters in which that are told in Universal monster stories are that of suffering, or they've been concocted, but when it came to the Invisible Man, it was self-induced. He was the scientist that took it too far himself, much like the scientist Frankenstein, who took it too far to build a monster. And so more of a story of that. And that was the story that James wanted to tell. So that's what roped him in initially to end up writing this. And then subsequently end up writing, I'm coming to it, which is issue number 2, right? Tell me it is. Tell me it is. Tell me it is. There it is. Dracula. Now, initially, like I said, he wasn't going to write any of these, but when it came to Dracula, and he was just going to essentially retell it in his own styling and formatting, and then go ahead and give it to Simmons to go ahead and do the art, it was difficult for him to say no. And I just read issue number 1 last night. Oh, man. Oh, Renfield is depicted so well in this storyline. It's so cool. All right. Speaking of, we're just going to keep going down the line. World Tree. I am so surprised that issue number 1 is not going for more, especially the ones that were in air and that didn't actually get the proper printing. But World Tree is one of those that, unfortunately, most people don't understand the difference between optioned and production. Or in the works of, sometimes when they're formatting, they'll use that word of, well, we're looking into how we would, I forgot another word for me. My brain went away. Deciding essentially how they would storyboard it and in what their demographic would be. So they end up trying to figure out what it would work as an animation, real life, so forth. And they try to build all that, and then they all end up getting little tidbits of pieces, and then they'll go ahead and get a bunch of people and they'll test it. So that's another word, and I can't remember what that was called. And then the other one is full-on production. So what people don't realize is when you go ahead and option, let's say 100 things, let's say a Paramount options 100 things in a year, they may only make one of those things. There's other things that they have on lockdown, and they'll carry those options into like a vault, a virtual vault. And then when their little time thing comes up, there'll be like a little flashing thing to possibly give new options to those people if they want to keep that storyline or not. The beauty is when it comes to this Tanyan stuff, and in the case of Jeff Johns, these things are going into production. In the case of Stephanie Phillips and her Grimm, that's going in production. That's why I am so stoked about this stuff. Not necessarily because of the spec aspect, but just the fact that the things that I've actually bought, read, and enjoyed are actually going in production. All right, last Tanyan book. And if I remember correctly, yeah, Pizzazzotes. I never pronounce this, but Poinsett, he and along with James, wrote this one. I really enjoy his writing. I really dig his stuff. This is actually one of my favorite characters, but Arachnid or something. Anyways, and yeah, I'm digging this storyline. This is fun. I can't get enough of that. I know Exquisite Corpses ends at 12, and it becomes a game. So I'm looking forward to the game to drop in think it's February. We should know by February how all this game stuff works out. The front, I end up reading it, and then I always buy 2 so that you end up having, just one still sealed and the card inside, and I put the card over there. I am loving that story. All right, moving on from that, Barbaric is back. If you're unfamiliar with the story, is this guy, can't remember his name right now. Yep, not coming back. He's been cursed. And the curse is to bear this axe, which goes by axe. The axe is bloodthirsty. And he's not only possessed to do the right thing, the axe is, but it needs the taste of blood from enemies, from evil, to not only sustain itself, but to grow ever stronger. And the bond ever seems like to grow between these two even more. It's an interesting story. It tells a unique story, again, of a barbarian and his trials, tribulations, and torments along carrying this talking axe that only he can hear. Along with, I think, this barbarian's witch's girlfriend, if it's still a girlfriend. Story's getting kind of thick, but it's so cool, so awesome. If you're not familiar with Barbaric, you can go way back about 5 years ago when it first came out, and I highly recommend the trade. You'll be blown away. You'll be laughing. More times than not, you're laughing at the storyline. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 13, cover, I think that's A. Yeah, B. And a C, which I have to admit, is probably my favorite. It is C, right? Yeah. Very festive, right? Just saying. I read 12. It was a little bittersweet. You know, Jason Aaron told a story on a reboot that I never expected and how it was going to be done. It did reinvigorate my desire to stay with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles as far as reading. It was one of those books that I was considering, just giving up on. He jumped in, floored me by how he was putting together the storyline, and the end result was a landing that all I can say was a solid 9.9. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things that he didn't falter. It didn't at any point start getting stagnant in the story. And when it came down to the Turtles becoming exactly what you hope they would become, knowing that they are brothers, they nailed the ending of how the spirit of these stories needed to be told. So I'm looking forward to getting into issue number 13. I'm hoping that same styling and spirit continues on the ongoing series. If it doesn't, I'd have to say once again, I'm going to only give it a few issues, usually 6. I give it a 4. Then I'll make my decision then. Moving on from that, let's go and talk about Cultic Sack, issue number 4, then 5, which I believe completes the storyline. This is a story of kids coming of age and learning that they're descendants of vampires and have a decision to make if they want to go ahead and continue on with that legacy. They are also hunted by vampire hunters, and the assistants to these vampire hunters are also vampires. It is a weird, twisted tale. I'm trying to find out the motive behind why vampires would seek to eradicate vampires, or if it's an inner feud with a Hetfields and McCoy type situation. I don't know. I am curious to get into this. I've been buying all the Tony Fleeks covers, which means that when you hold this up and you stand in the mirror and you take a picture as a selfie, everything reverses. So, you look in the mirror and then you take the picture. How do you do that? Now you hold the you hold the back end. All right. So you hold the back of the thing to a mirror. You take a selfie, which reverses everything. And being that this is reversed and that's reversed already, everything looks forward. It's pretty wild. Tony really thought about that one. It just warps my brain even trying to figure out how to explain it to you. Blue Falcon and Dynamite. I haven't seen Jimmy in a while. When I first met him, Palmiotti was with Joe Quesada, and they were just starting out in the industry as far as leaving Marvel, going on to other things. They were doing some Valiant stuff on all kinds of other things. So I ended up meeting them, and they were funny together. So I've not only enjoyed where they've gone to, but I also appreciate the fact that they still not only do books, but books I enjoy reading. And just overall because of the art, because I still love stuff. Space Ghost. I've known Pepos for I don't know, ever. He's been a friend of the family's, and I really dig his stuff. Knowing that he's been getting the success that he has, not only with Space Ghost, but with Speed Racer, and he's writing all these things that I truly enjoy as a kid growing up with. So what was that? Space Ghost, Speed Racer, and I'm trying to remember the other one that he's doing that I really had it for a second. Yeah, I can't get enough of the fact of these 2 books and the fact that he's doing it. So it tickles me, and I'm so happy for him. I hope 2026 does him well. All right, Transformers. This whole Energon universe is freaking awesome. If you're reading it, you already know. And now that it's doing what it's doing in the sense of the Transformers is now directly crossing over to G.I. Joe. And there's if you're not reading one, you're kind of missing out on what's going on in the overall story of everything between G.I. Joe or the Transformers. So I just been getting so much out of it. I might be a little bit behind, but wow, I'm still reading and enjoying it more and more with Void Rivals, Transformers, and GI Joe, and hopefully Void Rivals is probably only a few issues that we start seeing tidbits of its influence on these type of books, meaning both GI Joe and Transformers, either terrestrially speaking or somehow affecting in Cybertonian type thing going, because we've already seen that there are others that are involved in the storyline when it comes to the Void Rivals that are directly related to Cybertron, or these Cybertonian type creatures. So I can't wait. It's finally crossing over, and this is getting so good. Escape issue number 4, I think. Oh yeah, that's all it is right now. I'm waiting on 5. Which just came out today. This storyline has been so good. Rick has been doing an amazing job in all of 2025. I really can't wait to not only finish off the series, but see what he does in 2026. I was buying Sacrificers. Just stopped doing that. I end up doing Seasons. I'm going to continue to do that. I enjoy that series so much. Grommets was an amazing, and it brought me right back to my childhood. Everything that talks about up there in San Francisco is the exact same things that was transpiring down here. And I not only am reading it as enjoying the story, but I'm reading it as if there's a few of those things that I actually lived. So yeah, Rick is not only doing a great job writing this stuff, but he's bringing back a childhood that I kind of like enjoying remembering, as brutal as it was. Now, Black Cat issue number 4. She's trying to pull a whole new leaf. Both the heroes and the villains are having a hard time buying it. I really been digging the series. It's really been coming across really awesome. And as far as issue number 5 is concerned, yes, you can see that I need to reissue 4. That stated, I read issue number 3 just the other day, and it's kind of funny to see her coming to grips with the idea that she has to hit a big reset button, and it's not calibrating the way that she thought. And she's coming to terms that she might have to reinvent herself. The Mortal Thor issue number 5. I've never known Thor to be so brutal. It's just like Inferno Hulk. These things are just as brutal as some of the Red Band things that we received, throughout all of 2024 and 2025. I can't get enough of this. This was going to be one of those books I was considering not buying. Seriously, I was going to discontinue it. Look, did I get 2 or 3? I got 3. Gotta admit, they're cute as hell, right? I'm a Stitch fan. The family's a Stitch fan. My son actually even bought my wife a whole onesie Stitch outfit. I'm so glad she doesn't watch this show, or she'd be super embarrassed. And then I got the Avengers Stitch cover copy, which is issue number 3, cover E. Gotta like that Silver Surfer homage. It's just freaking awesome. I'm not reading. Sorry. Same thing with Planet She-Hulk. I'm not reading this, but I end up getting, I think, 3. Yeah, I got 1 hanging inside the other room of these covers. Just saying, they've been tongue in cheek and an homage. It's so freaking awesome. It's so cool. Yeah, look, just unleash the holidays. You like how I line that up? Took me a little bit. All right, hey, I want to bring in someone that's been dying to come in. My friend, the Conquering Hero. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate him. Comes in every once in a while, protects me when I need him. He's my conquering champion. All right, moving on from that. More from Marvel. They're going to give us Marvel's Rivals Ignite issue number 1. Just make sure you guys are paying attention. I'm looking forward to getting this. Now, this, I guess, was an online book exclusively. So I guess it grabs a collection of those things. My son has not only been reading a lot of the online stuff like this, He's playing Marvel Rivals games, so he gets to see some of the skins before I get to see them on books, and or vice versa. If there's been, I guess, enough popularity in some of the skins on the books, they've been, trying them out as limited things and stuff like that, I guess. I don't know. He tells me this stuff. Spirit of Violence. This is a continuation of the Spirit of Vengeance stuff that we were getting from Sabir Pirzada. Now we're understanding who the relationship is to Danny and how that works against everyone else. This has been such a good read. If you are a Ghost Rider fan, the past 3 volumes of all the Ghost Rider stuff leading up to this, other than the facts that all the stalls and you kind of already knew what was going on by issue 3 of the last Spirit of Vengeance stuff, but you didn't know exactly how it was going to be delivered. You just knew who the person was that was the Spirit of Violence and how they're kind of being used. This has been one of the more enjoyable Ghost Rider stories that I've been reading. The fact that it does truly live up to that, it was, on legacy wise, it's been slowly building up. And if you keep reading these things as arcs and not as a reboot, every time they start with a new number 1, that it's really been in the past now 5 arcs. Yeah. Told the story exactly how I was hoping it was going to be told. I'm looking forward to not only getting to issue number 5, but how that story is really going to bring it in. And I'm looking forward to talking to Sabir about that and how that process was, because you're talking years in the process. So just saying. All right, the end, $20.99, issue number 1. When I bought this, I had no idea that I think there's going to be like 5 issues in this thing. So it's going to be ending 5 times over. Never mind. Got a couple of them just to end it twice. I'm trying. Did I mention I'm digging this Infernal Hulk thing? So as it turns out, issue number 29 has, I guess, gone up around anywhere from 150 to 200%, which is, modest. Issue number 30, I think, has gone up anywhere on average from 300 to 500%. Even this, I threw this into Mylar because I can't find any of these things for cover price. $4.99. And when you do, you're still paying shipping. So you're not getting a cover price, if that makes sense. Yeah, you might have to pay tax somewhere else, but you know what I'm getting at. So I do find that rather interesting. And can't wait to get into issue number 2. This has been just such a raw, solid series. Just amazing and brutal. What he did in issue number 1 to that soldier was just, oh, man. Yeah, to know, you have to read it. I'm just saying. It was the talk of the town for a good solid, 2 weeks, I think. Marvel Black, White, Blood and Guts. Hey, Bull. Happy New Year, brother. Hope you're doing well. I appreciate you. Station. I hope you have a healthy and happy New Year yourself. So this is written in part as a, at least probably 3 stories in here, but Taboo and B. Earl. Now, I haven't seen Ben in quite a while, and I was under the presumption that he was here on the West, but he's actually on the East Coast. I was really hoping he was going to come to the block party over at Revenge of Comics and Pinball, but he never showed up. So, and I knew that there was going to be a signing event with Mac and with Taboo. So I got a few books signed by Taboo. I brought my son, brought my daughter, but it was obviously prior on which that I got this book, which I'm dying to not only get into, but it was the last thing that they have written together outside of the series that they're writing on. Daredevil, what is that, a Bullseye story? Some Daredevil story, I can't remember. All right, as you see, I'm reading so much. I'm sorry. Wrong. Put it right back. All right, I'm moving on. Spider Girl. First appearance in Spider Boy. We get this girl that is now continuing on the series. I really been digging what this has been doing. Also a variant. I missed the fact that I don't have Spider-Boy right now, but I do understand. Dan Slott ended up signing over with the DC side, ended up doing a bunch of work with them. It's going to be a while before he ends up doing anything like that. And being that it is, in my opinion, a rock solid character, it's going to be around for a while. I'm kind of glad that it's only him that's, kind of doing the majority of the writing of the series at this point. I'm sure, like in any other case, that he doesn't probably have exclusive rights to it, that Marvel probably does, and they're the ones that are allowed to do anything they want with the character. Stated, I'm hoping that it's Slott has something written in there that he has like first shot at if they want to do anything with it. Battle World issue number 3. The reason why I went heavy on this issue is I knew it was because it was going to be theoretically the first appearance of the new suit with Venom. So it was one of those. Which one do you get first on the what is that issue, Secret Wars 8 or the 252 and all that other type of stuff, or do you just get them all? Yeah, I just got them all. See, and I got this along with that, which is also part of the 252 thing. So I'm just saying, I went a little nuts, I went a little crazy. Hey, I just wasn't trying to be too lazy. So, and then I got this and this. Like I said, I went a little nuts. I like this though. This is a cool homage. All right, as I made mention, I did buy and have been buying the Red Band stuff. This doesn't, in my opinion, necessitate Red Band. It's really not that gory. There's moments that you go, oh wow, you bit into that, or yeah, I see blood dripping. But again, what's been happening inside the Infernal Hulk and the Thor stories have been, in my opinion, way more brutal. On the exact opposite end of that spectrum, we're finding out that Spider-Gwen, she's been dealing with some demons coming out of her own closet, which has actually been her suit. It's been haunting her and taunting her, and felt quite abandoned that she has not acknowledged the fact that it's done so much in a time of her need, and then she just discarded. Yeah, it's not doing well. So I'm looking forward to jumping into that and see where that moves. Spider-Man issue number 17. I just read 16. So what was it, a couple days ago? So I'm looking forward to not only getting into the 17, but as it moves into the whole death spiral thing happening with Carnage and Venom, and even Soul is trading off with Kelly on the storytelling on Spider-Man, being that he's no longer writing the Carnage stories. So I'm looking forward to how they're going to tag team on that story to do that whole death spiral with Venom and Null and all this other stuff. It should be really, really good. Just doppelgang it. Nullified. Some of the nullified things I've been picking up. When it comes to things like that, I mean, I got it for this reason. I'm picking up all the Crane stuff. It's hard to say no. Spider-Man Noir. I've really been digging these Noir books. I like the original character that it was first introduced, Fabrice Sapolsky. He's a buddy of mine that used to live around here. Also part of the whole Sketchy Bug group that with Pepos and Don Ho and a bunch of other people that came up. Anyways. Yeah, it's just a very unique Spider-Man. I know there's a million of them out there, but this one is a little more gritty and just old schooly, and it doesn't feel fake. It just feels. I'm used to these old detective stories growing up, so yeah, it just kind of brings back memories of yore. Penultimate, 2 issues away. I read issue 22 the other day, and I'm looking forward to getting issue 23. I do know that there's going to be a stall until there's issue 24. It'll be a couple weeks later than normal. The idea is purposed. To go ahead and bring everything on the timeline that they're trying to release all the other books. If I recall, I already have this. I think I might even have 2, but I've yet to read it. I purposely waited and put the other ones away. Man, everyone wrote in this one. This is great. When it comes to the Ultimate Universe, this one is kind of the hub of all the other stories. It's giving you a defined understanding of what the overall objectives and goals have been surrounding all the other stories. And what this has been doing is collectively bringing you that understanding of what the agenda is as a whole and the timeline we've been given, knowing that the Maker is going to be coming out in the 2 years' times, that the book's been coming out. And as far as we were concerned, that was representing the the amount of time in which that he was locked in his time period. So it was rather directly related. Pretty cool. I really loved it. And this ultimate viciousness of Ultimate Wolverine has just been amazing. Doctor Strange. If you knew what was going on with the Sorcerer Supreme, everything that's been happening as far as One World Under Doom, how it ended, and then where he had to go to try to get enough power to go ahead and just challenge Doom, he wouldn't have left. He would have just waited everything out and just said, okay, all I have to do is wait and everything will just solve itself. Oh, man. It's a good thing he didn't know. Who knows how he would have flipped out on it. I'm just saying. So here we are with Miles Morales, issue number 41, nullified version. Regular version. It was funny to find out that, God, I can't remember her name right now. Anyone reading this, you could tell me. But they're seeing the same psychiatrist. They're seeing the same therapist. And Rated, that's her real name, I think, is not happy about it. Even Miles is a little perturbed. At the same point, he's trying to come to the realization that these are the things that he needs to get over. At the same point, she's not getting over it. So you end up seeing them both flip out on one another. It's really cool to see this whole new Gamma Enforcer, that's what I'm going to call her, come out. She's unique. She can control her forces a little bit differently than I believe all the other Gamma radiated individuals out there. So she's different, and I like her. So the fact that she's this new individual in the Marvel Universe, I really like her character, and I like where she's at with it as far as hanging out with Miles. Well, that's it for me as far as all my books. I appreciate everyone hanging out with me today. Yeah, I had a great 2025 as far as those of you that have supported me. I'm there with you as far as, yeah, we're all going through it. Yeah, we're all looking for ways that, to make it by and all that other stuff. But we got each other. And what that really means is I think we're all in the same boat of knowing what we want out of life. Just want to be loved. And what we like to have in our closets, more comics. So, as long as we're there for each other and with that understanding, I think we're okay. To those of you that cruise on through, I appreciate you. Blake, brother, dude, Fable, Las Cruces, Jag, all you guys that have hung out with me, Two Gun, throughout the years, throughout 2025, I greatly appreciate you guys. I truly do. And hey, that's it for me.